First of all, I'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and I'd like to start by recognizing the folks that are with me here today, starting with Council Chair John Weinstein, who you'll hear from momentarily. Also joining us are Police Chief Gary Gardner, Petra Garcia, the Executive Director of FERN, the Foreign Born Information Referral Network, and Jennifer Pollitt-Hill, the Executive Director of HopeWorks. Also to Jennifer's left is David Lee, our Director of Community Partnerships and Constituent Services for the county. I also like to acknowledge, I know that County Councilperson Mary Kay Signey is here. Thank you for coming, Mary Kay. In my State of the County, I talked about the great deal of uncertainty right now about what's happening at the federal level. And I stressed that there should not be any uncertainty here in Howard County. Howard County's values of inclusion and opportunity, understanding and responsibility, and collaboration and innovation drive our priorities as a county and a community. We have a county government that represents our community's diversity. Our employees strive every day to make sure our services are comprehensive and accessible, and we will continue to reinforce this message as often as possible. It is important to acknowledge that our Howard County Police Department and all of county employees It's important to acknowledge our county employees and our police department for the way they treat everyone who lives, works, and visits Howard County with respect and dignity. I am proud to work with them. We were disheartened by the divisive language that we have been hearing since last fall and the sense of fear and uncertainty that our immigrant and minority communities are experiencing. So we moved quickly to form #OneHoward, held a town hall, put a steering committee together that has met several times already, and began facilitator trainings. We did this because we believe that the divisiveness we have seen is not reflective of our Howard County community, and that we can and should stand together to ensure that every person feels safe in Howard County. County Council Chair John Weinstein and I agree that we cannot solve every problem by legislation. We need to approach these challenges with actions that are inclusive and comprehensive. For one, it is not the responsibility of our police department to enforce federal immigration law, and Howard County will not participate in the 287G program to perform the functions of federal immigration agents. Our resources will not be used to do work that is outside our mission and responsibility. Also, recognizing that local government can and should continually work to improve its interactions with the immigrant and foreign-born community, we have worked with our partners at HopeWorks and FERN to develop an action plan and strategies. Today, in an effort to reassure all of our residents that our county government treats everyone equally and fairly, I am asking Police Chief Gary Gardner to take immediate steps to review and revise department policies as needed, taking into consideration both current practice and applicable laws, as well as continuing their focus on treating every person, regardless of their immigration status, with respect and dignity. I expect that review to be completed by the end of April. I am also directing all Howard County departments to immediately review and revise their policies as needed, taking into consideration how best to address issues associated with immigration status, and to reflect that county employees, in their conduct of their official duties, do not deny services based on an individual's immigration status, nor inquire into the immigration status of a person except when required by federal or state law or agreements such as grant or funding agreements. In addition, just a few minutes ago, this afternoon, I signed an executive order to formalize the #OneHoward steering committee that has been meeting over the last several months. This group will continue its mission to not only promote the values that we share, but to work with county departments, nonprofits, and other interested groups to facilitate conversations of inclusion and respect. I'm asking the #OneHoward committee to organize a series of facilitated discussions in partnership with organizations such as the Columbia Association and the Howard County Library System to provide opportunities to share concerns, better understand one another, and build relationships. I've also asked them to facilitate and promote a series of events in partnership with community and faith-based organizations designed to break down the silos and build a truly inclusive community. They're going to provide training for facilitators. We've already had a 2-day training program. We've had 19 facilitators be trained already to help us continue the #OneHoward mission of fostering productive dialogues that bring our community together. And they will create and implement a coordinated program by working cooperatively with organizations that assist immigrants and the foreign-born, educating county staff on best practices to help them integrate with the immigrant community. And they will ensure that all relevant county policies are made available online and with an easy-to-understand description on the #OneHoward website. And they will expand our partnerships with the county nonprofit organizations to publicize these policies, strengthen the sense of trust in our county government, and improving access to accurate information, county services, and legal resources. This includes strengthening the communication with our foreign-born community. Finally, I have designated David Lee, the gentleman to my left, Director of Community Partnerships and Constituent Services in my office, to serve as the county's #OneHoward coordinator. Now, at this time, I'd like to turn the podium over to the Council Chair, John Weinstein, for his remarks.
Afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Executive Kittleman. The attention, anxiety, and anger in the recent debate on immigration generated rifts in our community. Over the past several weeks, in conversations I've had with people on both sides of this issue, and in discussions with key stakeholders, a few common themes became clear to me. First, we can all agree that immigration is a complex issue. Not surprisingly, this has caused confusion in the public about the county's authority and jurisdiction in the area of immigration and the relationship between federal and local governments. Second, organizations and individuals in the community have expressed their desire and commitment to address the real fear some in the immigrant community are experiencing as a result of the uncertainty and chaos coming from the federal government and the troubling executive orders we've seen. Now, let me be clear. The fear in the immigrant community is real and legitimate. Third, the Howard County Police Department has strong working relationships with community groups, and more importantly, the police department is committed to building on and improving upon those relationships. These relationships are critical for the county's nonprofit partners to continue their outreach and encourage victims to report crime without any fear. I'd like to take a quick aside because over the past year or so, religious facilities around the country have been targeted. African American churches, mosques, Sikh temples, and most recently synagogues, they've all experienced threats or heinous attacks. Our police department, Chief Gardner and his team, continuously monitor what's going on around the country and take proactive steps to work with our religious community leaders to ensure the safety of their congregants and their holy places. A final theme is that better, more clear communication about police and county government policies are critical to convey that there is no uncertainty in Howard County, that immigration status is not part of the police or government interactions with the community, and that we all make sure that no resident lives in fear. From these themes, tangible and practical actions have emerged. As the executive has already described, HCPD and the county government, along with key partners, will review and revise as needed relevant policies and practices regarding their interactions with the immigrant community. With the appropriate resources committed and the right people engaged, this important action can be accomplished and have a real and positive impact. The outcome of this review will be to make sure the policies are easy to understand and that the community is aware of those policies and can easily access them, as well as help disseminate this information. Over the past several weeks, there has been an unfortunate focus on the division in our community over this issue. What has not been highlighted are the fact that there have been constructive conversations and specific actions that people across our county have undertaken to address those concerns. And Hector, I believe your group has been at the forefront of taking many of those actions. Working with Executive Kittleman, Chief Gardner, council members, leaders in the nonprofit community, including Jen Pollitt-Hill from HopeWorks and especially Hector Garcia from Fern, the focus has been on our shared commitment to combat the fear experienced by some in our community. I'd like to share a quick story, if you will. I received a few emails from a particular constituent that supported CB9. She's an immigrant herself and was concerned for the people she provides counseling for through volunteering in the community. These are immigrants in the community. It was clear from her emails that she did not understand the county's jurisdiction and responsibilities related to the troubling executive orders. During our conversation, I was able to address her concerns and questions about the county's immigration role and discuss the actions we outlined here today. Her reaction to those actions was to agree that this will help to address the fear in the immigrant community. But more importantly, she said that she wanted to be a part of implementing these actions. This demonstrates that through constructive dialogue, even people who might disagree on the outcome of the legislation can agree on working to make a positive difference in our community to address these fears. So now we need to move forward, and we need to move forward together. Like my constituent, I call on my fellow Howard County community members to turn their compassion and concern into action. Volunteer to support this effort, to reach out to our immigrant neighbors by contacting David Lee. Offer your support directly to Fern and HopeWorks by contacting Hector or Jen. And find a way to lend your energy and your voice to helping us in this effort. Thank you, and I'll turn it back to the executive.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. I just want to reinforce what John had mentioned also, the fact that our police department has been working with Fern and HopeWorks long before this discussion started, and they will continue to do so in the future. So I just want folks to realize that this is not something that's happening because of what happened with CB9. It was happening well before that. So again, we often talk about how fortunate we are that Howard County is so diverse. And I truly believe our diversity is one of our greatest assets. And as a lifelong Howard County person who's lived here for 58 years, it's a lot different now than it was when I was a kid, and we're a lot stronger now than I was when I was a kid. What these past few months have shown, however, is that celebrating diversity alone is not enough. Because even in our diversity, we are still sometimes separated into silos. We have come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. It's important to recognize that our goal of becoming a truly inclusive community will not be accomplished by legislation or executive order or even something like a hashtag #OneHoward. We're calling on all of you, each of you, to join us to do your part. Please, be civil, talk to your neighbors, understand them, respect them, reject intolerance and bigotry, and together, let's bring our community together and reinforce our shared values. That's our statement for today, but I don't know if Fatima, did you have any questions for us? I know you're the press here.
Yes, so you mentioned federal uncertainty several times. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that uncertainty?
Well, I think everybody knows what we mean by that. It's basically what's been happening that we've seen on the newspaper, we see on the TV. People are concerned about some of the policies and some of the conversations going on at the federal level, and we want to make sure that everyone knows Howard County, they don't need to be uncertain here. They don't need to be worried or confused. We want to make sure everyone knows that our county government, police department, and everybody else are going to work to make sure everybody feels safe and secure. Every resident, regardless of immigration status, feels safe and secure in Howard County. Anybody else? Okay, anything else, Fatima?
Have you taken a position on the revised executive order?
Again, I mean, I may not have done that, but I'm the Howard County executive. I have plenty to focus on right now, and so we're focusing on what we can do here as a community to come together, working with the county council and the members of our nonprofit community and everybody else. I think it's more important that we focus on what we're doing here in Howard County to make sure that everyone feels safe and secure, what's in our ability to change. So thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, well, good. Thank you very much.